In the 1950s, America believed it had found its paradise on Earth. After the end of World War II, the country entered a period of unprecedented prosperity. Thousands of soldiers returned home, seeking peace, stability, and a piece of land to call their own. Thus, the suburbs were born. Planned towns built rapidly over former farmland, filled with identical houses, green lawns, and white fences. Here, the American dream took visible shape. Perfect families, shiny new cars in the driveway, peaceful dinners with the radio playing softly. It was the portrait of modern happiness. But was that perfection real? Everything was carefully manufactured. Not just the houses, but also the people who lived inside them. Advertisements in magazines and on television taught what it meant to be a good citizen. The man was expected to work hard, wear a suit, and provide for his family. The woman was expected to be sweet, elegant, and keep a spotless home. Companies promised happiness in the form of products, new appliances, shiny cars, miraculous detergents. Consumption became a religion, and the more they bought, the more they believed they were living the American way of life. Every morning, the suburbs awoke in perfect harmony. Identical cars rolled out of driveways, men headed to work, wives swept the sidewalks, and children rode their bikes down safe, quiet streets. Neighbors gathered for coffee and shared recipes. In the afternoon, the mailman smiled, dogs ran across green lawns, and everyone knew each other by name. There was order, safety, and belonging. But beneath the perfect surface, a silence grew, the fear of being different. Behind the floral curtains, there were secrets. Many women suffered in silence, trapped in empty routines. The phrase, "the bored housewife," was born in this era. Men, pressured to succeed, hid their frustrations in bottles or endless hours of work. The suburbs looked perfect, but they were golden cages. Those who didn't fit the mold, the artist, the rebel, the dreamer, were met with suspicion. Happiness had rules, and anyone who broke them was quietly excluded. While the news showed smiling faces, fear spread quietly between the lines. It was the Cold War. The dread of communism and nuclear bombs crept into even the calmest homes. Children were taught to hide under their desks during attack drills. Men built bomb shelters in their backyards. Propaganda claimed the enemy was out there, but over time, fear turned inward. Suspicion, surveillance, and paranoia became part of daily life. The suburban youth grew up surrounded by promises of perfection, and they began to question them. They wanted more than family dinners and polite manners. Music became the anthem of rebellion. Elvis Presley appeared with his fiery voice, James Dean with his defiant stare. A generation was born that refused to walk in their parents' footsteps. The youth of the 1950s became the spark of a cultural revolution that would change the world in the decade to come. In the suburbs, everyone seemed the same, and that was no coincidence. Housing policies at the time, known as redlining, prevented black families and immigrants from buying homes in white neighborhoods. While some lived the American dream, others were pushed to the margins. Suburban harmony was built upon exclusion, and the promise of freedom, ironically, was only true for a few. Today, looking at those identical streets, it feels as if time has stopped. The houses still stand, the lawns remain green, but something has changed.
The suburbs of the 1950s became symbols of an era when appearance mattered more than essence. A golden age, beautiful yet fragile. Behind the shine were the cracks of a society beginning to awaken to its own contradictions.
The 1950s suburb left deep marks. It shaped ideals of beauty, consumption, and behavior that still echo today. The white fences and perfect smiles became icons and ghosts. Because, in essence, the suburb wasn't just a place, it was a promise that happiness could be built, standardized, sold, and delivered with a warranty. Perhaps that's why, even today, there's something hypnotic about that time. The pastel colors, the vintage cars, the swirling dresses, everything seems simpler, purer. But the fascination comes from contradiction. Life in the 1950s suburbs reminds us of an eternal truth. The more we try to create paradise, the more we risk losing our soul. And so, the American suburb of the 1950s remains alive in movies, memories, and in our collective imagination. It was the stage where humanity tried to perform perfect happiness and learned that no script is ever that simple. If you're fascinated by this era, its secrets, its illusions, and its legacy, leave your comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Because the past is never truly dead. It's just waiting to be rediscovered.